All right, it looks like we have about 30 people in the room, so we'll just get started. But I just wanted, my name is Sally Hollingsted. I am the Oilfield Helping Hands Rocky Mountain Chapter President. And I just wanted to do a quick welcome to everybody today. And thank you for taking time out of your lunch hour to join us. I'm going to turn it over to Bill Marcus in a moment, but I just wanted to remind you all that this is a webinar format on Zoom. So that means you are automatically muted as you come into the webinar. If you have a question, feel free to use the Q&A function on your screen, on your toolbar screen, or you can raise your hand and I can unmute you so that you can ask a question live. So with that, Bill, I will turn it over to you.
Awesome, Sally. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And guys, for everyone that has been using Zoom over the last several months, a great format, a great way to get messages out, but very problematic for speakers to use this format and just seeing slides. I can't see everybody's faces like we normally do. But hopefully, we'll get back to normal soon. So let's take a second. In Houston, this would have been our monthly meeting, and we normally have a location and a lunch sponsor to thank. So we put them up here because they've stepped forward, as most of our supporters do. Pason Systems and BRC would have been our lunch and location sponsor. So I want to say a quick thank you to them. And for all the future, we have a schedule out, as most of the other chapters do too, of who's going to sponsor in the coming months. And so Pason and BRC, thanks for stepping up this month, and hopefully we can put you in a rotation later in the year. So let's talk a little bit about why we're here with the next slide on OHH. OHH has been around since 2003. Started out with some Halliburton and Bayreuth employees helping the co-work. Registered a 501c charity for nonprofit to help further people. I'm sorry, I lost the slide, Sally. Are they still up on your side? Sally, are they still up?
Yeah, sorry, just a function here. Give me 1 second.
No worries. I thought I could just or something.
Keep talking.
All right, awesome. So as the OHH chapter started to pile up, we started to help families that were in financial crisis through no fault of their own. That's important to us to help and give back to the oil field, as we are all part of it. First of all, all the recipients have to have at least 75% of their income come from oil and gas, E&P sector of the industry. That's what we serve. We have 3 chapters, the Rocky Mountain, Houston, and Permian chapters. And the employees of corporate members are also covered if you're not around one of the chapter locations or their surrounding counties. And in the next slide, we're talking about the mission statement. And it's very simple. OHH is here to help oilfield families that are in financial crisis, no fault of their own. I've said this before, but there's an interesting statistic out there in the U.S., and it may be more so now than ever, is that most families are 1 to 2 paychecks away from homelessness. And the oil field is no different from that. So by us being the guide on for support and help the oil field families, it's important to us to know that our people need our help and our charity, but they need a hand up and not a handout. The oil field's not going away anytime soon. It'll be here forever. And the people that serve it will be here as well. And we're here to serve them. On this slide that you can see, our volunteer organization is just that, 100% volunteers. And we help our oil field families in 3 different chapters. The Houston chapter and the 7 counties that surround Houston. In the Permian chapter, a little wider broth out there is 21 counties around the Permian chapter. In the Rocky Mountains, we go over to Utah, Wyoming, and North Dakota. It's important to know your geographic location, because if you're not working those areas and your company's not part of the corporate chapter or the corporate sponsors, we can't help you. We can't help somebody in Alaska if you're not part of the corporate system, and because we just don't have a chapter there. But it brings up another important point. To extend our mission, having other chapters is important. If you're working in the oil field in an E&P organization and you're in one of those far-off regions, help us discuss with your company about setting up a new chapter. We're happy to do so, but we need that help. We don't have the funds or the means to just go out and start a new chapter wherever we might. In the next slide, we'll talk about our goals, and they're also important as well. We talk about growth and expansion of things. We talk about our events mainly. Let's have more events, because events drive our revenue. Also, we want to grow through additional chapters, as I just mentioned. Getting out to those far off areas helps us grow, not just as a chapter, but to reach more people. And then we partner with professional industry organizations. One of the biggest ones is Amazon. Amazon Smiles. By going into Amazon account, you can select which charity support would purchase this through Amazon. We also have a local one through Kroger. I won't go into the details of the thousands of dollars we've got from Kroger's, all of those people that do stuff at Kroger. There's only 4 of us. But those industry organizations help us as well. We also partner with fundraising for disaster relief, like we did here in Houston with the hurricanes. The city of Houston gave us some benefits to hand out to the Oilfield families and help them in the Houston area. And then individual and corporate membership for growth is important. Without our corporate members, I don't know that we get anything done. So those are our goals, our missions, and a little bit about OHH. Well, let's talk about why we're really here. Sally, go to the next slide and we'll talk about some recipients. We have just 3 to 4 cases here today, and typically in Houston area, we might have a recipient actually speak at one of our meetings, but today we've just provided these in writing, and I'll talk a little bit about each case. Case 1 is a very sad case. If you'll go back to that slide with the case. Case 1 is a very sad case about a young girl, 7 years old, who has special needs, and then she developed some other ailments as well. There we go, one more, perfect. Called ADEM. I'm not a doctor and I can't even pronounce the last word there, but after Christmas, very sad, she had these afflictions that put her into the Texas Children's Hospital. And as everyone knows, Texas Children's Hospital is very focused on ailments for young children and their families as well. They kind of take a full encompassing look at a family's needs. But because this was sudden onset and she was special needs, there was a lot of extenuating circumstances went along with this. She lost the use of her legs and the arms and hands because of this disease. Spent a lot of treatment and a lot of medication to try and get back the use of her arms and legs. She did eventually in February get the use of her arms and legs, or hands and arms, but not her legs. So she was having to be put into a special wheelchair. Another thing, because she was special needs, she was nonverbal at birth. And because of this disease, she actually lost her sight. She used a tablet to communicate, and because she couldn't see any longer, using a tablet was going to be problematic. All of these things compounded on this poor family, very young family that had other children at home. The mom stopped working. She was at the hospital 5 days a week. Dad was at work 5 days and then traded off on the weekends. This went on for several months. When they finally got around to asking OHH for help, all they really needed from us was help with retrofitting their house for this new wheelchair for this little girl that she was going to have to get around. These are the people that we help in the oil field. They have traumatic events hit their families, and traumatic events compound on the fact that they either can't get to work, or when they're getting to work, they have to go on limited hours just to take care of the normal needs of a couple other kids at home. One kid is sick. They relied on family members. They'd gone through their savings. So we were happy to grant them $10,000 to cover the daughter's medical bills and work needed on the house for the wheelchair access, getting all the doors to 36 wide so she could maneuver around. And get everything back to somewhat normal so she could go through the further treatments at ADEM. We'll keep up with this family. We'll hopefully that they'll make further advancements and she'll recover a little bit more use of her legs so that she won't be wheelchair as much. But a very sad case, and it's nice that we can help families like this. Case number 2 was a little more similar to my age group. He was young, or I say, 45 years old gentleman who was just not feeling well. And as we all do this, we get the flu symptoms or we feel a little down, maybe our stomach's upset, we go to work every day. This guy did the exact same thing. He went to work and went to work until he just couldn't tolerate any longer. By the time he got to the hospital, not only was his liver and his kidneys and his bladder infected, but the infection was huge and rampant through his whole body. I went through lots of testing and lots of treatment. Finally got released and he's back to work. 2 weeks later, he has a reaction to the barium they used, and again, he's out of work. All this downtime is the only way this family's making a living. Very tough to recover from, and he's still trying to get to work. He's in limited hours or he can't work at all. He's back to work now, but it just puts him in a hole. So we were happy to offer him $5,500 to help his family just make it through the next mortgage stage. I find this a lot when we have these case studies come in. These families not asking us to put them in easy street. What they're asking for is, get me through the next month, get me through the next week. Let me get a tank of gas in my car so I can get to the launch once I get offshore. Our Texas oilfield families are tough, but even the toughest guys get broken down sometimes. There's a gentleman that tried his best to hold on and just didn't make it through. And then case 3, if you'll go back to, yeah, right, case 3, this young family had one daughter, and their next one was being born this last July. She was born with a congenital heart failure or heart disease, and they found that there were other organs affected as well. This family struggled in the hospital trying to make sense of what had happened. And after several months of working through this, the young girl died 19 days later, leaving this poor family with a lot of questions on a lot of big medical. As you can imagine, doing all of the investigation to find out what went wrong and what's happening and what could be recovered, about $500,000 in doctor's bills. I can't even imagine the stress and just the sheer devastation on this young couple, on top of which all these medical bills compounding down on. They have really good insurance, and Pioneer, as the company he works for, helped them out as well, keeping his hours up and making sure the family's taken care of. But in the end, they still had a helicopter bill of $53,000 plus another $6,000 in their portion of the insurance coverage at $500,000. So we were more than happy to extend them $10,000 to help them pay off the rest of these medical bills so they could move on with their lives. And now we find out that she's pregnant again with another child. So we're really, fingers crossed, and a loving young family on the very beginning of their lives going forward. When tragedy hits, we were there to help. So it's really nice to see these things. And in fact, on the next slide, if you'll flip to the next one, Sally, this young family gave us a thank you note. And if you can't read it, I'll just paraphrase for everybody. They said, "Thank you for taking the burden off of us, these medical bills, so we can move over their families." There is grieving going to be for the next several years and more of their lifetime with this young girl, but at least we can do some small things like helping them with the short-term effect of medical bills. That's what we're here to do. These oilfield families have fallen on hard times, financial crisis through no fault of their own. That's so important for our mission, and it's so important to give back to the oil field, and that's why we're all here. So we'll switch gears a little bit. We'll talk about our recipient updates. Thank you. With this COVID-19 and the oil prices tanking, we are kind of in a quandary here. We've got probably a triple threat on our hands. And if you look at the years that we've had recipients and recipient money going out, we have stayed pretty steady growth over the years. But if you look at 2018 and 2019, with 66 recipients and 72 recipients, those are pretty standard growth years for us. We expected these coming out of Harvey and the oil field recovering. But if you look at 2020, we're in the 5th month, and we're already 75% of the numbers of recipients that we did in 2019. We know that it's going to get worse before it gets better, folks. But that's why we're here, right? So if you look at our track record, we keep growing in the number of recipients because we keep growing in the amount of effort and effect that we can have. Our corporate members keep growing, our events keep growing, all of our different chapters are growing, and we're getting more events, more money coming in. We're able to help more people. But I think that, when I talked to Brooke today, we have 103 applications in this month. So from the first part of the year, so since March 13th and 15th, mid-March, when all of this stuff started happening, it's compounded. We've got 105 applications. But it's also to note that only 26 of those 105 have actually gone through the full process and be receiving some type of financial help. So there's still more to come. All of the applications haven't been processed, and maybe they won't be. Maybe the people that are putting the initial application will find help. But if they can't, we'll be here for them. But you can expect this 55 number to be the low point. So we'll go to the next slide. Sally will look at what our true mission is, and this is important. This is on our website, and when anyone asks me, what do we do in OHH and how do you help people, I love this slide. This infographic is great to show how many companies we serve. 300 different companies with 800 recipients to date. It's amazing. Over $5 million is handed out in compensation. So we've had a lot of medical injuries, and we just had 2 different children being affected, families with children are probably our largest demographic. But when everyone asks me, how can I get a hold of OHH, or how do I know what you guys do, I send them to the website and I have them look up our infographic and mission. And I really request everybody else do that as well. Go and find that infographic, print it off, put it in your break room, put it in your HR's office. It really tells the tale of how all of us have come together to help this critical need of our families. Okay, Sally, if you go to the next slide, we'll talk about our corporate sponsorships. We have 3 levels of corporate sponsorship, or 4 levels. The elite, platinum, gold, and silver corporate sponsorships. And these are designed to help us in the times in between events. Our corporate sponsors, they get some benefit out of this, but without them, I don't know that we could do what we do. It's not just financial support, it's the support through our events and sponsoring some of the different events, but also being there in numbers and volunteers. I know Stacy Sanchez, when she worked at the company she last worked for, on the call, pat her on the back, but she would show up with like 20 volunteers for all of our events. They would show up in droves. That's the level that our corporate sponsors have with us. So hats off to the elite corporate members, BJ Services, Rig Riders, Newfield Exploration, and Southwest Energy. These folks are cornerstones of our largest contribution for our corporate members. And Sally, if you'll run to the next slide, we'll kind of line out what that means. For the benefits of the corporate members for the elite levels, they get registration every monthly meeting. We'll show these slides at every chapter for every meeting we have. We'll put their banners on the OHH website, and as well as you get flags at every event that we have. You also get the entry fee for 10 teams to participate in any of our OHH fundraising events waived for free. You're participating in our overall bottom line, so we're turning it back on you and giving you free entry to teams. Your logo is displayed on banners, and every time we have a corporate sponsored banner, your logo is front and center. And also, we give you a second banner if you'd like to post that out front of your building or out front of your headquarters to show that you're an OHH member. It always goes noticed and well thought of. Also, the responsibility for us is, or for the companies, they'll agree to provide at least 2 volunteers for each event. I don't think that's ever been a problem. There's always been plenty of people show up at from our corporate members at our events. They also will provide at least 1 person as a company rep. So when we can get a hold of them, we know we have to go to 1 person, don't have to go to the full HR staff. They also agree to provide OHH with logos as well as artwork and graphics. We want to get it right just like they do. And OHH agrees to work with the company in order to maximize the benefit associated with the membership, which means whenever there's an opportunity that we can promote you guys, we will. We'll ask for permission, but we will promote you. And this is our elite corporate. This is the top, right? So if we go to the next slide, we'll talk about our platinum members. And those are no less important to us. In fact, this was where we started with the elite. It's kind of a new corporate member department, but Oxy, Gator Technologies, Hunting, FigPen, Integra, SM Energy, Aspergy, and Premier Directional Drilling. Thank you so much for being a part of OHH and being a part of our corporate member foundation. The next slide will lay out what the platinum corporate members get. It's really all the same, except for they get the waived entry fee for only 6 teams instead of 10. But all of the same responsibilities for us and for you are the same as the elite. It's just on different level. The next one is our gold members, and hats off to the gold members as well. Sally, if you go to the next slide. Freeze. Maybe I should add that. Hang on 1 second. I will tell you who the gold members are. Right? See some movement. Man, I was on a roll. Here you go. All right, the gold members: Halliburton, Impact, Milestone Environmental Services, NTG, QEP Resources, Aries, Pioneer, which we heard from one of their recipients, Pioneer Energy Services, and AES Drilling Fluids. Our gold corporate members have the same responsibilities as the other ones. In fact, they get waived entry fees for 4 of the teams instead of 6 or 10, but the same applies for them. We'll help all of their employees, no matter where they are in 48 contiguous states. And then we will provide their logos of fundraisers and provide them with, anytime we have an opportunity to show them off, we will. The last thing is our silver corporate members. Our silver corporate members, 1 second. Oh, Sally got kicked off. Katie, can you see the PowerPoint presentation? Okay, good. All right, so the silver corporate members of Target Hospitality, Suncoast Resources, and Suncoast is at all of our events. Really appreciate it.
I can't see it, Bill.
You can't see the PowerPoint? Mm.
Yeah, she's kicked off, so we lost her screen, but she'll pop back on, I'm sure. I'll shoot her a message.
Did we lose the whole thing then? Hey, Brooke, send me a text if you can see me.
She just popped back on.
So, Chris Miller, you can hear me? Thanks for the minute.
Bill, I'm back. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Did we
Sorry
lose
about that.
the webinar? Or?
No, I'm pulling it up right now. You were on Gold Corporate Members, right?
Yep.
Okay, sorry about that, everyone.
Okay. Chris said we're back.
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Technology, right?
You know what? You know a lot more than I do, so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So gold corporate members. Go to the next one, Sally. We'll talk about the silver. The silver corporate members. We talked about Target Hospitality, Suncoast. Target's new, by the way. IBT Global, Palletize, Brunel, and Brunel Industry Services, and Techstar. And these are the entry level or silver level. Silver corporate members are entry level. If you want to get to be a member of OHH and see what it's all about, get for the silver level. It's not that expensive. So the silver membership is $5,000 a year. The gold membership is $10,000. Platinum is $15,000, and elite is $30,000. So for corporate memberships and being able to be in a Oldfield sponsored event, that's probably a very small amount. So try out the silver corporate membership. And I always throw this out in Houston meetings. I usually have Chris or Gary do this part, but if you think that your company is not or wants to be represented but is not represented, you don't have to hold that at your own. Call me, call Chris, or call Gary. If you go to the next slide, please, Sally, and do. I'm going to go to corporate member contacts. Call Gary or call Chris or even contact myself. We'll help you with that. We'll go meet with the people in your corporate group, whether it's HR or at your marketing division. And we'll talk to them about the benefits of becoming a corporate member for OHH. You don't have to take that on yourself. So if you're interested or you haven't seen your company slides or would like to be a bigger part of OHH, give us an email. Everybody's name, first name, dot, last name at Oldfield Helping Hands gets almost everybody here. Myself, Katie, Sally, Chris, Gary. Reach out to us. We would love to help you find the right contacts within your company and get you. Can't say it enough. We can't do what we do without our corporate members. All right, so let's go to the next slide, and we'll talk a little bit about our media sponsors. Sometimes we leave these guys out because they help in different ways. They actually get our name out, like World Oil has, in lieu of exchanges for a few of the open team or waiving the entry fees in some of our events. They provide full and half-page ads in World Oil. You might have seen those ads. E&P as well. Shale Mag does that as well. And the American Oil and Gas Reporter. Offshore, I haven't seen any of their ads, but they are a media sponsor, and they'll be doing the same thing. It's just another way to get our message out. And we look for more media sponsors to come on. We have special qualifications for them as well and special funding for them. They have to provide us as much services as the corporate members. But if there's a magazine or a e-magazine that you read that we're not in, let us know that as well. And we'll reach out to them and see if they want to become a corporate sponsor as well. All right, so let's go to the next one, and we'll talk about a book. There's a guy, Kyle Wagner, who's written a book, a children's book. I think the story goes, and Katie, you can correct me if I'm wrong, he was tired of trying to explain to his children what he does for a living. Where does daddy go when he goes off to his drilling? So he designed this book, and it's at all levels to read. Even they said I could read it because it's got lots of pictures in it. But Good Night Drilling Rig. If you go ahead and Google how many children's books there are about the drilling environment, I was amazed. I think there's 5 or 6 books out there. All of them are great. If you have small children at home, grandkids, or somebody else in your neighborhood that you'd like to hand this out to. These are great ways to tell everybody what we do for a living. The books are be $13.50. Now, what I understand is on the website it's a little bit more, but they're giving OHH members a special discount. And Kyle will be donating $2 from every book purchased to OHH, no matter what area you're from. Even if you're not near a chapter, if he sells this book, he's going to give us $2. And he's given a special price, $13.50. I'm not sure how that's going to work. But if you need to know, or you go to the website, it says 19. I think Brooke told me today it was $19 a book, and you want the $13.50 price. Contact us here. Send us an email, and we'll put you on the path. But this is another way that companies are reaching out and helping us reach our mission or our goal, is by providing things like this. It's just awesome that people write books like this or do things which we're going to talk about here in the other chapters to help us reach our goal. Donate. So let's talk about the other chapters. Enough of hearing from me. Let's move on to Sally and her technology skills and talk about the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, don't give me technology skill kudos since I just got kicked off somehow. Apparently it's a high time to be working at home in Denver, so sorry about that all. But no, Rocky Mountain chapter has been doing really well. We've been transitioning. Unfortunately, we've had to cancel a couple of our events and postpone one, but we have been transitioning to figuring out like where we can find other funds from and how we can still get support from our community and still help those that are in need within our region. And so one of the things that we're super excited about is that the COGA, Colorado Oil and Gas Association, selected OHH as one of the recipients of their Mardi Gras ball, which was held in February of this year. And from that, we split the proceeds with 3 other organizations, and our amount alone was the $37,500. So that, though we knew it was coming, we didn't know obviously the pandemic and oil prices were going to crash. So that was an unexpected and super positive help for our chapter. So I don't know if anybody from COGA is on the line, but we are very appreciative. And it says Colorado Energy Foundation because last year COGA actually started this Colorado Energy Foundation and will be doing grants throughout the years for other organizations as well. And so it's a great thing for our industry up here in Colorado to participate in. So the next thing that I'm super excited about is my good friend Whitney Wicks, who is the co-founder of Rocking WW Minerals, has decided to be very, very charitable. And she is going to jump on and talk about how you can get one of these really cool hats.
Sure, thanks, Sally. So yes, we decided, we wanted to help Oilfield Helping Hands and raise some money, and I know like a lot of companies, we don't have a lot of additional, cash on hand where we can just go out and donate, but we can come up with some creative ideas to where, we can make hats like these and put forth the money to get them made, and use, other folks in the industry to help us raise money for Oilfield Helping Hands. So these hats are made here in Sheridan, actually right across the street from us, and you can buy them online at rockingww.com/shop. Like Sally's got on here, we're going to be donating 100% of the profits plus $5 a hat to Oilfield Helping Hands Rocky chapter. We're going to try, our goal is to sell 1,000. I think we're about 300 right now, Sal, but with some additional advertising and marketing we're going to be doing in the next week, hopefully we can get there.
Yeah, and it's I have mine, and I realized as we got to this slide I wasn't wearing mine, but I love it, and I think they're especially, this is one of the first fundraising opportunities we've had coming out of Wyoming, which has been a part of our chapter since 2014. So this is a really cool opportunity for anybody anywhere to help support our chapter. Thanks, Whitney.
Yep.
Our next event in Colorado was postponed from May and will hopefully still be happening on July 10th. It's our annual clay shoot. We do anticipate this moving forward. We're still working with the venue to make sure to see what restrictions are coming down on them in the next few weeks. But we do anticipate, like I said, this going forward because it is an outdoor event. And if you can golf, I don't know why you wouldn't be able to shoot clays. So we think there might just be a few things like maybe no large gatherings over lunch and things like that, but we do anticipate this still happening, and so we hope you can sign up to sponsor and or have a team for this on July 10. We also have our murder mystery dinner, which maybe this is the year that Bill's actually going to come to it. Yeah, but this is the third year that we've done this. And if you've never done a mystery dinner, this is actually really quite fun. It's a $100 ticket and $2,000 for a table. And it's just a really fun evening. We get dressed up. This year it's on October 29th. So we're thinking more of a Halloween theme, but we get dressed up and have a great time. So also located in Denver for that one. And this one, our Rockies Bowling Bash, is an event that we started way back in 2014, and it took a hiatus for a few years, but now we're bringing it back on December 3rd. And Ann Carto, who's on our leadership team, this is one of the reasons she got involved with OHH Rockies. So we're hoping that companies see it as a team building opportunity, and teams can come in and just have a good time bowling for a good cause. That's all I have for my chapter. So Katie, I'll turn it over to you.
Hello, can y'all hear me? We're good? Okay, cool. I'm Katie Grimes. I'm with the Permian chapter. We also have Michael Sanchez is one of our vice presidents. Tom Mitchellbrink doubles as a vice president and a treasurer, and then Jenny Keldorf is our secretary, along with a ton of other people that make my life really easy. So one of the events that we've been doing through all of this crap that's going on is the Permian Front Porch campaign. So the oil field photographer, his name is James Durbin, he reached out to me and said, I want to do something. We've got to do something. And we're all kind of sitting stagnant. So he donated his photography skills and prints to take cute photos like this one of families on the front porch. We had a lot of sponsors that you'll see down in the bottom, and to date, we're still not done. We've raised the number below. So it's pretty exciting to be able to raise money when oil prices were negative. So we're incredibly thankful for the families that have donated. So those of you that don't know about the Rig Riders, they opened the Permian chapter about the time we opened OHH's Permian chapter. They host events and donate the money to OHH. We're incredibly thankful. They're a group of wonderful guys. Their wives are wonderful. So they put on an event called Oilfield Lives Matter. It was a clay shoot. We had a wonderful time. Weather was perfect. And they raised $5,000 and did a check presentation on the news last week. So we're really thankful for those guys. More events to come. This will probably be an annual thing, as well as chili cook-offs and hopefully more. So thanks, Rig Riders. The Black Gold Bash, this is my baby. This is our second annual. We planned for March 25th, I think was the date, and then everything happened and we postponed. So right now we're targeting September. I got a call this morning almost finalizing the date, but I'm not ready to say yet. September is what we're targeting. We have had only one company back out of their sponsorship. So if anybody's on the line that has sponsored, we are incredibly thankful. One of the things worth mentioning, and I don't think this will make anybody want to back out, but Randy Rogers has backed out of the concert. We are getting a new equivalent artist I think everyone will be happy with, and I'll announce when contracts are signed. So crazy thing, we had a motorcycle donated to us. That's Miss Veronica Ochoa on the screen. She's beautiful. She's the wife of one of our rig riders, Dominic, and Fisher Construction donated this motorcycle. Michael Sanchez has kind of taken this up as his baby, but we're raffling off $100 tickets. The plan was to raffle it at the Black Gold Bash. We're going to target September, but I mean, I think it was appraised somewhere around $8,000 or $9,000. So for a $100 ticket, you could walk away with a pretty awesome motorcycle, and all the proceeds go to OHH. So we're very thankful for Fisher Construction. And then our golf tournament. if you look at the picture, last year it was like negative 10 degrees. It was miserable. This year we moved it out of is November 11th last year. So we moved it to, hopefully it'll be a little warmer. This is Tom's baby. He does a wonderful job with this tournament. We had every single team show up despite the 30-degree weather. It's a fun event. It's at Green Tree Country Club. It is one of the nicest golf courses out here if you're familiar with the Permian. August 31st, we're still a go. I would imagine we would start selling teams and sponsorships a month or two out, so probably pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. But to be respectful and understanding of the times, we are going to back off of our team prices a little bit to help everybody out so we can still raise money, but not hurt you guys, and you don't have to go to your boss for approval and he yell at you. So we're looking forward to that.
All right, thanks, Katie, and thanks, Sally. Why is it that the Rockies has the coolest stuff going on? Is it because the legalized marijuana, Sally? I've asked that question 100 times. Nobody has answered.
No, I'm pretty sure it's because of me and our cool team.
And then Katie's got a Black Gold Basher. She gets radio level country artist at. It's always cool to hear you guys talk about your events. Not that we have boring ones if you used to, but you guys have great ones. All right, so let's talk about the saltwater splash coming up. This is our 16th year of having the saltwater splash tournament, and Gene Pate swears it's going to go off June 18th to 19th. So even if there's social distancing, we're going to have yardsticks, and everybody's going to hold them out. They're going to walk around and stay 6 feet apart. I don't know what we're going to do, but he says we're having this thing on June 18th to 19th. So same thing as last year, or this year we're going to have a tailgate party. I thought we had a tailgate party last year too. 2 to 6 fishermen per team. It's a low entry fee. As many sponsors as we get, we're going to keep adding to the prize pool. So it's always a lot of fun. If nothing else, it's just a lot of fun to hang out there in June and switch ass off and fish, and if nothing, eat good food and hang around with great people. So go to the next slide, Sally, and we'll talk about some of the sponsors. Right now we've got 3 sponsors on board, and we're looking for more. So Alperson Cement Consulting, Downhole Manufacturing, and GR Energy Services, thank you for sponsoring up front, and keep them coming in. The next thing we have is a video that a gentleman by the name of Gene McMahon, I'll talk about in a second, put together for helping our oil field families in need. Take a look, and there's some sound with it too, Sally.
We'll try this, Bill.
I'll try. If it locks us out, we'll. Hey, awesome, we made it through. Awesome. Thanks so much for that. So everybody come out to the saltwater splash. And it also, we had 2 pistol shoots. This will be the second year for this summer pistol shoot, which will be down in, I think we're still going to have it down south in, I'm not sure in summer down here, but it's the same as our winter pistol shoot. Hopefully this is going to go off. It's far enough out, August 21st. It's Texas Gun Club. Same kind of thing as last year. It's really cool. You get to shoot down bowling pins. You knock a stump in half. You've got clay pigeons that you can shoot out of a target. Pistol shoot, the first time I went a couple years ago, blew my mind how much fun it was just to watch the team. Mixed teams, men and women, they have women's teams, special trophies for women's teams. And as we get back online and we have these meetings in person, you'll hear from Jim Adams, who puts these things together. Him and his son do a great job of putting them together. So the next one, Sally, we'll talk about all of our events that are coming up. And I think that the rest of them are far enough out. It's just the saltwater fishing tournament. And I think the clays tournament for Sally that are in contention with the COVID-19 social distancing. But we talked about the saltwater splash and the pistol shoot. We're also going to have the golf tournament this year in September. And Katie, let's get together. If we're far enough out, if the dates of the bash are going to be even close to this, we'll move that golf tournament farther out. So people can go to both. We travel to both. And then the annual Fall Classic Sporting Clay is what we're known for. Sporting Clay tournaments is where we've hung our hat all these years. We're going to have ours on schedule October 9th. We missed the spring one, so we need to have this one. Okay, so the next slide, I want to talk about Gene McMahon. Gene McMahon is one of those guys who, just like Katie had a photographer step up, if you can, Sally, go to the next slide. Gene McMahon has been our photographer for OHH corporate events and everything else. He puts out a lot of energy and a lot of time of his own, and he takes away from his own work to help us out. He does everything from headshots for our corporate people and our board of directors. He shows up at almost every event with cool photography toys and makes us look good. He did the video, and here there's another video we couldn't get loaded up, but he does a great work. We like to support him by putting his name out here in Miracle Films. If you need anything filmed, call Gene. He's a great guy, and he's a great supporter. So a couple other corporate messages after this is we're a volunteer organization. Each event needs volunteers. Typically, what we've seen is a lot of volunteers will say, man, I'm ready to help out, and I'm going to be there on Friday, and Friday comes and their boss won't let them off work, or Friday comes and personal needs step up and they got to be at home. We understand all of that, but because we're a volunteer organization, having the volunteers for the events means needing to rely on them. We understand we are all human. This is our second job for sure, but sign up as soon or as early as you can. If you're sitting, at home and you know of a coworker said, man, I'd love to do that OHH stuff that you do, send them to our website so they can sign up and be a member. We get names. And then if there's a volunteer coordinator that calls or emails and reaches out to you and says, hey, we've got the saltwater blast coming up. We'd love to have you as a volunteer. Be really open and honest. Say, man, it's a long way away, or it doesn't sound like something we do, or it's going to be too hot. We understand, but don't lead us on and say, yep, I'll be there, and then not be there. So we're really, we rely on the volunteers. And man, you're the reason why we do all this. And the reason why I have fun is because we got great folks. So please keep that up and spread the word. Let's get more volunteers online. And also, in this time when we can't do our events as scheduled, or we've got to push things off, donations, whether it's a personal donation of $5 or buying a hat so that the vendor can give us $5, or buying a book so we can get $2, those are so important. So on all of our web pages, there is a button that says how to donate. Click that button often. Get other people to click the button, and let's donate. We need to make this a success and keep this going. We're doing well, so we'll continue that as well as we keep donating. And then the last slide we have is for Q&A. If you typed in some questions and Sally's kind of held off, type them in now and she'll bring them up. We can answer any questions and get any requests that you have out of the way before we wrap this up.
Bill, there is one from Chris Eli, Raw State Podcast. Still interested in supporting as the media sponsor, and they are donating proceeds from their ad sponsors, it sounds like.
Yeah, so Chris Eli did he has a blog, an Oilfield blog, and he interviewed me 2 weeks ago. Great guy, supporter of Oilfield Helping Hands. And then he's going to continue to donate through his advertisements. A portion of his advertisements is going to come to us. And then he's also going to support the podcast and also with being out on site on events. So great guy, Chris Eli. We'll continue to Chris. That was your question. We're working through some details. We're going to get back with you very shortly. We've got all the questions answered for you. And
Awesome. And then the next one is for either of you. Is there a link for the book that you mentioned? The book?
do you know?
I don't think that there's a link up on our website yet, but you can go to, oh, what's it called? Give me 1 second. I've got it in my messages. Basically, our link will shoot you over to Kyle's website, but his website is punkindooger.com.
What is that?
PUNKINDOOGER, punkindooger.com. And you'll see it right whenever you pull it up. But Kyle's a great guy. The book is adorable. The photos in the book are incredibly accurate. Kyle's obviously in oil and gas, so I'm ready to buy at least 5 of them. So I hope you guys do as well.
When you were spelling that, I thought you said pumpkin booger.
It's different. I need to
I'll
ask
go along with the kids'
why
book.
he chose that name. It's a production, is that the right word? Publishing company. That's yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Sally?
Nope, that's all the questions that I've seen come through right now.
Awesome. Everyone, thanks so much. This was a little weird, but fun. Hopefully you got enough out of it, and you look forward to having us in person. A lot more fun to shake hands, hug, kiss some cheeks, and shake some babies or whatever. And just get around, have some food, and mingle, because that's why we're all in this organization and in the old. Thanks, Sally. Thanks, Katie. Anything else? Parting words, Katie?
Thank you guys for coming.
All right.
Yeah, thanks. Oh,
Thanks, Sally.
all right, bye.